Hello and welcome to a Smurd P video. Today we're looking at Transformers Studio Series figure 104 Nightbird, and this is the Terrorcon from Transformers Rise of the Beast. So usual things to expect from the packaging. Transforms in 21 steps. Nightbird, which I can't read, and the Terrorcons fight back the Autobots to steal the Transwarp Key. This is the attack at the museum, big screen inspired scale detail backdrop. And then we just scroll around there. That's nice if you're a mint inbox collector. And this was I felt very neat. Maybe it's because it's now come from a peg, but it looks very awesome. So let's get Nightbird out so I can have a closer look. Okay, so when I watch Rise of the Beast, I generally, with Transformers, I know what they are. I know that they're not related to characters, etc., that I have grown up with, grown to love, etc. But I was super excited because it was characters from Beast Wars in live action films. Don't get me wrong, there are moments that I love, there are moments that I hate, and there are definitely lots of things that I think they could have done better. So I didn't know any of the characters, especially on the villain side, because it wasn't very obvious. So when I first saw Nightbird in the attack of the museum, I think it is, I generally thought that they had given us Terrorsaur, because the character, it generally felt like that's what the character was. Of course, it turns out it was just Nightbird, which was in the G1 cartoon, a ninja that was just created. So in the end, I was obviously very disappointed. However, the character itself is actually pretty decent in the film. I'm not gonna lie. They probably had the best trio of villains that I think have ever sort of been on there, because Megatron was always such a presence, and they just used to throw in a lot of cannon fodder and random names, etc. So I still feel like they could have done better. So this figure is actually a lot smaller than what I was expecting. I was expecting her to be a little bit bigger, but I feel like she is perhaps around 4.5, maybe 5 inches. She is small. Compared to, and I guess the disappointing of me showing this to you, also being a fan, I really generally wanted to show her with Scourge and Battle Trap, because they would have looked epic together. I'm sure there's plenty of reviewers that have done that. So, but I feel generally disappointed. I had an issue with my car. I'm sure I've said this before, and unfortunately I had to sell loads of stuff to pay for that car. So I generally felt disappointment in showing you this now without those other characters, etc. I'm sorry, I'm just bouncing it off. So the biggest thing, and I don't think I transformed that correctly, is there is a backpack. Now in the promo pictures, it looked a lot more horrendous than this, so it doesn't actually look that bad. Sorry, that's not me laying one off, by the way. That's my hand moving on the drawers. So I hope I saved myself there. It's a good thing I can fart twice. No, I'm joking. Anyway, goodness, this review's gone downhill. So I love the fact that it's got the little wings there. I generally don't know if she used them to fly off, etc. And then you can put the sword on this. Now, obviously, you can define certain moments on there. There is sort of like bird tendencies there, and then you've got these sort of side pieces here, and this backpack off a car, which is there and evidential. So it's by far from perfect in terms of them. I think what they've done, I think they've actually put a lot more emphasis on the ARP mode than the robot mode, and I think that's why we've ended up with this. I feel like I'm going to be probably saying similar when I finally get Mirage as well, because I feel like they've done the same there. Now, in terms of the eyes, you can't see them in there, but they are sort of lead piping, lead, etc. So they are very hard to distinguish in there, which that does look very nice like that though. So it does make it hard to see her face if she's not in the light, for example. you can see it's a lot harder to see those eyes. So I feel like that's a little bit disappointing, etc. In terms of color wise, they're probably going to be spot on in terms of colors, etc. I do like the fact that it looks like she's got a sort of gun on there. That does look like a little gun on the hands. I'm not sure if that's correct. Now you can take this off. Obviously it has a peg. You can put it in a few places. I put it in the side there because I like that, but I think, I can't remember where. You can put it in the back somewhere. There you go. You can put it there if you want. I think that just looks absolutely stupid, because look at that. You just got it hanging there. That doesn't look right. So there we go. So there is the weapon, the nice samurai sword, which I do really like. And she can obviously hold that and be very threatening with her chest going on there. You're not going to mess with her. Now, in terms of articulation, have a look at this. This will be interesting. So the head cannot go all the way around, even though it is designed to, because you've got these sort of, this whole sort of neck armor going down. Let's get my camera to focus again. There we go. The arm can go up. It's got a single there. She can cut her own. That's not something I'm going to say out loud. Now, you can move this arm around, but because of this, you don't get a clear sort of 360 go around there, and speak. There is no movement on the hand. There is movement on there, but because of the backpack, you're not going to get this all the way around. You can do a single joint there. There is a swivel on the thigh, which you can see is a very tight swivel. Then there is a movement with the foot, etc. And there's a little pivot there, which can help you get it into some decent poses, I feel. So she does have Oh my goodness, that was terrible. That was terrible. What on earth was going on there? Not only are we farting on screen, we are knocking our camera off screen. I don't think I've ever done it that bad. I know I sometimes wobble things. But, here we go. Come on. Stand. There we go. So, you can get her into some decent poses. So that does look very cool. So, there is certainly ways you can manipulate that. So, I'm going to go and transform her. I think we've seen enough from robot mode. Oh, wait a minute. Before we finish, there is the big backdrop. Up carefully. Don't drop on me. Don't you dare. And you can do this. You can stick that on your wall. And you can look very cool. There we go. Not a fan of those, as everybody who watches my videos well knows by now. So there we go. Let's transform and have a look at that ART mode. This is what your robot mode is sacrificed for this beauty, because the ART mode is absolutely stunning. The engineering to transform this, I've got to say, I really did enjoy transforming this. There wasn't a moment that I was bothered, etc. And you don't expect that from smaller vehicles, but Studio Series are usually considered more complicated transformations. There's a bit more adult feel, I guess, to them. But this was enjoyable from start to finish. I think the only thing that I worried about was this little double joint here. So just be careful in terms of that. But you got lovely pink in there. Looks gorgeous underneath there. All tucked in as well. You've got a sort of mini... Sorry, it helps how I'm showing you. A mini exhaust on terms of the sword. But I was worried about pushing that little bit in just a little bit in case I ended up snapping it. I'm not going to lie. That was probably... I said I'm not worried about anything. But that was the only bit that is a little bit thin. And you could easily damage on it. Nice little colors at the bottom and on the front as well. You got a nice little Terrorcons symbol there. Very small, mind you. That is very tiny. On the top, it all clips together very nicely. I mean, you can see where it all connects, etc. But that's to be expected. It is still generally a toy. In fact, maybe that's meant to be the little... No, actually, that looks like the exhaust. So, fabulous job in terms of this alt mode. Absolutely stunning. Rolls really nicely as well. I'm just, like I said, I'm gutted that I cannot show you this next to Scourge and Battletrap, because I feel like they've got the sizes right, you know. Scourge is this massive truck, and then you've got Battletrap, which is a smaller truck, and then you've got the car, etc. Which I'm not gonna lie, I do find bizarre, because she was obviously a flyer, etc. in her robot mode. So for them to all be cars, I did find it absolutely bizarre, because, well, you know what, Decepticons generally they fly. That's, even though that's not true, but that was sort of the thing in the original G1, etc. And it would have been cool for them to do that. And because of the way these Terrorcons were, they didn't have to blend. Well, I sort of, perhaps they did need to blend in a little bit, but it would have been cool if they were just full out alien machines, etc. I would have loved that arrogance, because from Scourge, even though he was basically a slave to Unicron, etc. Anyway, fantastic, but the price point, well, okay, it is 24, 25 quid. I'm going to say I got this from a Hasbro Pulse. Maybe the price point for it being such a small figure could have been a little bit low, but then you've got to take in consideration some of the engineering, I guess, perhaps. Maybe that rises it up. I'm you know, compared to a lot of the studio series in this line, which have been around the £30 mark due to the sizes of some of these figures, this is probably one of those on the cheaper end, etc. So anyway, I hope you like my video. If you do, please support my channel by subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you to those who already subscribe to my channel. Make sure you look after yourself, very important these days. And as always, embrace the geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.